I think, I think, I think that my word can be taken on that point.
All of this block billing. Hello. Let's get right into it. Thank you for joining me. Today I'm presenting on understanding law firm timekeepers, an overview of timekeeper roles and rates. Creating this presentation was sparked by a question from a student last week. The student asked if all timekeepers were attorneys. So I said, that's a good question to expand on, to explain what timekeepers are in a law firm setting and what they do. So some of the topics that I want to cover in the presentation are listed here. Of course, I'm going to introduce what timekeepers are in a law firm setting, the different types of timekeepers. I'm going to expand on associates, partners, paralegals, what they do as timekeepers, and just some other items. Then we're going to go into support staff and specialized timekeepers. I want to also define the timekeeper based on the law firm and based on the insurance carrier. Want to understand some of the timekeeper rates, how they come about. And we can also talk about the timekeeper rates versus the client rates versus the matter specific rates, and the challenges and best practices when it comes to timekeeping. And I hope that we come to a very similar conclusion. And if there are any questions, please leave them in the comments. I enjoy engaging with fellow law firm billers, people who work in accounting, software lovers, all of that. No chatter about law firm billing is too much. I enjoy it. It's pretty cool. Alrighty, so law firm timekeepers. The definition of timekeepers, the one that I'm going to give now, others may define it differently, but it's those who are inside the law firm who track billable and non-billable hours. Of course, those billable hours, they are eventually sent to a client on an invoice. And then you have those non-billable hours that are kept just so that you can track what you are doing, no matter if it's a PTO or conferences, CLE. Law firms, we like to keep track of our time. I'm sure other professions do too, but today we are just talking about the law firm. So why is it important for there to be timekeepers? Well, this is how law firms make revenue. They assign a particular timekeeper, a client, and or a matter. The timekeeper keeps track of their hours, how long it takes them to complete certain tasks, research, other court tasks, and then they are reimbursed for their time on those cases. Also, client satisfaction and transparency. You get to see who's doing what when you create timekeepers. It's just not a bunch of individuals behind the scene getting it done. You get to see it on a bill. Who spent the time doing what? Actually, you get to see more of it on the pre-bill stage, because sometimes attorneys don't always, or any of the timekeepers, they don't always bill for the tasks that they have accomplished, because especially when you're working with insurance carriers, they're not going to pay for everything. And some attorneys, they just choose to bill for the essential items and to, of course, be reimbursed when it comes to the expenses that they have paid up front in order to get things processed in the courts. So some of the timekeepers you see listed here, it's just a general overview of the categories, partners of counsel, associate paralegals, and you have your support staff. And I've seen in some law firms they have counsel and of counsel. They separate those two. Today we're just going to keep it as one, of counsel. So let's move on a little bit more and talk about the types of timekeepers. We're going to dive into that graph that we just talked about. So attorneys can be broken down into 3 categories. You have partners, you have counsel, or like I mentioned earlier, of counsel. That's going to be used interchangeably here. And associate. That's what I should have said in the beginning. The counsel and of counsel will be used interchangeably here. I think for this one, I just did not have enough. Anywho, I'm not. I could go off on a tangent about things that I need to correct. So attorneys can be broken out into 3 main areas: partners, counsel, and associates. And for insurance carriers, they kind of scrutinize the qualifications of each category even more. And when you're getting these timekeepers approved for insurance carriers, billing to their files, then you may have to break it down even more. When did this attorney get their JD? How long were they a partner? That's going to give them a particular rate for that insurance carrier. So partner and associate can be broken down even more. You can have a senior partner. That's normally a partner who has 15 plus more years, and a junior partner. And of course, associate, the same way: senior associate and junior associate. And just recently, I have seen a client's guideline for senior partner and junior partner. Well, it's not how long you have been an attorney that makes you a senior partner or a junior partner. It is how long you have been a partner. So be careful with those guidelines. Be sure that you are reading and understanding how the client has meant for you to do so, because they use language, I'm sure attorneys probably wrote those billing guidelines. So just always be careful of the language that is being used, because when it comes, as we'll move further into the slide, I will talk about the types of rates that we have. But just as a preview to that, an understanding of half travel rates, billing at half the rate versus billing at half the time. You'll have some clients who want you to bill at half the time. You'll have other clients who want you to bill at half the rate. And those are 2 completely different tasks that will give it a different dollar amount. So just be careful when it comes to the client's billing guidelines and the language that they are using. So each role that a timekeeper is given within a law firm, it is based on their level of responsibility and, of course, their JD. Partners are most of the time those who have bought into equity of the firm, equity partners. Counsel, to me, they're more like contract workers. You have some who are still um, getting that equity that's in the firm, but they are slowly giving away their clients to either partners or associates, and they are moving towards retirement. Or you have a category of counsel who that's all they're going to do. They're going to take a small group of clients, um, or they're going to take over a practice area and be the counsel for that group. Um, so those are two distinctions when it comes to counsel and associates. Those are more than likely the new graduates of law school and who have recently gained their JD. And they start out as associates and they move up to partners, whether that is by the number of billable hours that they're bringing into the law firm or they've bought into partnership of the law firm. And then you have the counsel there. And some of the abbreviations that are used for these categories are mentioned as well. Partner, you have that PT, counsel, CO, associate AS, paralegal PL, and law clerk LC. And these abbreviations come more into play through electronic billing. It matters what your pipes say when it comes to that leads document. You better not submit a partner as an associate or vice versa. Those are some little tricky systems to get through sometimes. Moving on, you have the support staff and specialized timekeeper category. And truly, I should have created a slide that was just for paralegals only because they need their own category. For the type of work they do, they are, in my opinion, more than support staff. They are the ones driving the case. Attorneys, they do quite a bit. They are the face of the case, but the paralegals are truly the heart of the case. Nonetheless, you have paralegals, law clerks, IT specialists, legal assistants, and others that I may just not know about as of yet. Law clerks are those who are in law school. They are normally in a portion where they are permitted to get some legal experience, hands-on legal experience. They're encouraged to get mentors in the law firm. Oftentimes, they are assigned mentors. Most law firms will have summer associates or winter associates. I'm sorry, not associates, summer law clerks or winter law clerks. And they're there to get training. They do a lot of research. They just get familiar with the law firm vibe. They get to experience different practice areas to see if this is what they want to do once they graduate law school and get their JD. So 9 times out of 10, and especially when it comes to law firm billing, law clerks are not paid timekeepers. Their time is normally written off before submitting the bill to insurance carriers. Now, there may be some special projects going on that require the extra hands and knowledge and skills that the law clerks are gaining. So, be sure again to scrutinize the client billing guidelines. They may just require prior prior approval before you bill the law clerks or the IT specialists or the legal assistants. Having some clear communication with the insurance carrier or the case manager, claims rep, whomever is setting those rules in the e-billing program, that is going to be helpful so that you know how to bill these individuals once you see them on the invoice or on the pre-bill stage. I have also worked with several cases where IT specialists are a regular need, whether it's the data management of the case. For instance, if ransomware is needed or an attorney is handling a case where data has been stolen, then the services of the IT department are heavily, heavily needed. Legal assistants play a strong role as well, especially if this legal assistant has paralegal knowledge or paralegal background. Many of them, you have some paralegals, they transition to legal assistants, and vice versa. You have some legal assistants who transfer to being a paralegal. But it is up to the attorney to know the type of expertise the individual can have or do have. And of course, that's based on their experience and their resume. And these timekeepers, depending on the client that the attorney is working for, their time can be billable and recouped on an invoice. We like that. We like being able to recoup time spent on a case, right? All right, just to make sure I have not missed anything, I'm going back through my notes here. All right, moving on to the next slide where we are going to talk about understanding the timekeeper rates. We've talked mostly about the roles that they play. And let's actually to talk more about the roles that they can play when it comes to cases, client matters. You will normally have a partner, an associate, and a paralegal working on a case. Clients like to see that partners are invested in their case. So even if the partner is just overseeing what is being handled by the associate, the partner may end up writing off their time, and the associate gets the billable time on that, and as well as the paralegal for the work that they have invested. But if it's just a partner and a paralegal, then of course that partner is going to bill their time. But I've seen many, many instances where, and it depends on the type of case and the practice area, the partner is guiding the associate, or perhaps the partner remains the supervising attorney or the originating attorney on the case, and the associate is the billing timekeeper who is over the everyday or monthly happenings of this case. So again, moving forward to understanding how the rates are configured. Well, the timekeeper rates, they are based on the role, the experience, and the skill of the timekeeper. The rates are going to vary based on the practice area. Intellectual property attorneys are paid differently than family law attorneys, and their rates are not the same. Litigation attorneys are not paid the same hourly rate as IP lawyers or family law attorneys. Um, Many times that is negotiated based on who the client is. Those firm engagement letters are very important. The exchange of the firm engagement letter and the client billing guidelines is truly important. That way, each side knows what is expected of the rate. Where a law firm is located and practicing law, the geographic location, that affects the billing rate too. New York attorneys are not paid the same as Alabama attorneys or Texas attorneys or California attorneys or Atlanta, Georgia attorneys. So all of that, you have to take all of that into consideration. And then to take it on even a smaller level, a more micro level, you have different rates inside of those rates. So you have the firm standard rate. That is, hey, John Smith, come on and be a partner at this law firm. We will set your rate at $500 an hour for your services. These are negotiated with the attorney before they start practicing. And also you have your client rates. Your client rates are negotiated with the client based on the amount of work, the high volume or ongoing cases, the high value cases. So an attorney can have a firm standard rate of $700 an hour. Their client rate may be $350 an hour. And then on a even more micro level, you have your matter rates. Depending on what type of matter it is, then the rates can change based on that. Perhaps this matter shouldn't take very long on this case. Perhaps it is just writing a will, something that's more template based, and something not something that's litigation based. Then that matter, even though it may be for the same client, that matter would have different rates. Oftentimes, timekeepers will have a discounted rate. I've also seen insurance carriers have blended rates, and that is a blend of the partner, associate, and paralegal rate. You blend those and get the average, and every timekeeper who bills on that file, no matter their category, paralegal, law clerk, associate, partner, they all bill at that same rate. That one was a new one for me. I was like, are you serious? Associates bill the same thing? Paralegals bill the same thing as partners? You gotta stay flexible as a legal billing specialist. They will throw all kind of changes your way, and just have to roll with it. Get the invoice out. Get it done. There are also specialty rates, depending on, again, the type of case, the type of work, the longevity, contingency. You will have some cases where attorneys are just tracking the time, and if the case settles, then or moves forward, then they will talk about the payment, or perhaps there's a lump sum that will be given based on the outcome of the case. And then you have the travel rates that I mentioned earlier. A lot of insurance carriers, they want half the billing rate. So if you're billing $200 an hour on a regular basis, if you're traveling while you are working on their case, then they want that to be $100 an hour. And the quirky thing with travel rates is the caveat that I mentioned earlier. Are they asking for half the billable rate, or are they asking for half of the hours that are being worked? So rates can be very tricky because there are so many types and there's so much room for error, because there are challenges with communication sometimes and the flow of information. So what are some of those other challenges? Well, the accounting software. Oh gosh, I it seems like every time you run pre-bills, the rates are different, or you have a new timekeeper who is working on the file and you were not notified. So this timekeeper does not have a rate set at the client level or the matter level in the accounting software. So they're coming over at their standard billing rates. You also have other billing inaccuracies. Perhaps the attorney or whomever is entering the attorney's time, perhaps they entered 1 hour instead of 0.1. Or perhaps they missed entering the hour altogether. Under recorded time it's a big issue. Sometimes attorneys, they forget what they have done. They have a lot of cases, a lot of matters. And if they are not well supported, then it's easy for time to be missed. Or if that attorney has not implemented a good strategy of either dictating their time or marking it down, or having an accounting system that turns timers on and off as you're moving to different cases, just some type of implementation to make sure your time is captured, then under recorded time is a challenge. And then you have clients disputing the hours that attorneys have spent, or the disputing the rate that the attorney is charging. Even when rates have been negotiated ahead of time, clients may still dispute the invoice. Oh, so these are some challenges that legal billing specialists see every day when it comes to timekeeper rates and roles. And a challenge when it comes to the timekeeper roles is perhaps a timekeeper starts out as an associate, and I'm mainly speaking when it comes to electronic billing and the leads document. Perhaps a timekeeper has been entered as an associate because that's how they started out in the firm. Well, they eventually became a partner. Well, you will have to put an end date to their associate uh, category and a start date to their partner category. You also have to make changes in the e-billing vendor site to be sure that that timekeeper category has now been updated to partner. You also have to make sure that you didn't put an end date to their associate rate too soon, because there may be time in WIP not billed yet that should be submitted and paid before you create those start dates and end dates. And the leads document changing those initials in the leads document before submitting to the vendor site, making sure everything matches. Those are some very tedious tasks, and they are very challenging. But they are doable. With a good tracking system, having spreadsheets that are real-time synced, heavily protected. Perhaps there are only 1 to 2 editors of that spreadsheet. Everyone else, they only can view the spreadsheet, and audit trails, seeing when a timekeeper's rate has changed, who changed it, having an area for notes, why was this changed. Those are some of the best practice ideas to minimize the challenges that already exist when it comes to timekeeping, the attorney's rates, the attorney's roles, just all of the challenges that come with timekeepers. And that is all that I have for you today. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you for being here, listening with me for the almost 30 minutes of reminiscing on law firm billing, its joys, its challenging and challenges, and dealing with timekeepers. So in conclusion, yes, timekeepers, they include more than just attorneys. Timekeepers are the paralegals, the associates, the counsel, the law clerks, and legal assistants, depending on which clients you're working for. Timekeeper rates can be very complicated. The category in which a timekeeper works can oftentimes be decided by the insurance carrier. Timekeeper rates are negotiated based on the years of practice and also the practice area. And rate expectation. It should be clearly communicated and stated in written form to the attorney. These are some of the things that I have concluded from working with timekeepers, rates, and roles. I am eager to see your questions and comments in the comments below. Thank you for your time. Please subscribe. I'm also on TikTok now. Can you believe it? I am mastering law firm billing with those who want to master law firm billing with me. Signing off. Legal Billing Guru. Come join the Legal Billing Guru Network. I am interested in talking to those who have years of experience or, short time of experience in law firm billing. Any experience, really. I just like to talk about law firm billing. Come join me. Have a great day.